Hi everyone, just sharing this from Sky News. Brexit crisis. What is a customs union? Strange, isn't it? Now the deed is done, the dirty, dastardly deed. Now, Sky News wants to explain to people what a customs union is. Seriously, I tell you, as I stated right from the start, this whole Brexit thing was a scam from beginning to end. They were never ever going to leave the EU. This was always about this criminal Tory deal, and that basically leaves Britain up shit creek without a paddle, to put it mildly, because that is where we're heading. That is where we're heading. I tell you, you can't even imagine the food price hikes that are coming. This is, what can I say? All our rights, every single right that our forebears sacrificed so much for, fought so hard for, all of our rights, our social and economic and political rights, our human rights, our employment rights, pensions, maternity leave, you name it, environmental protection, the whole lot, gone. It's now going to become corporate. We're now going to be corporate Britain, dependent on America for our food, and even them running our NHS, their medical insurance companies running our NHS. So, anytime Britain votes in a government that America doesn't like, as they've done with Venezuela, it'll be sanctions for us, won't it? Maybe the American president will phone Tommy Robinson up and make him Prime Minister of Britain on our behalf. No matter who we vote for, it won't matter. It'll be the American president's choice. Otherwise, even worse sanctions. Maybe they'll put us through blackouts as well, power shortages, as they've been doing to Venezuela. We people of Britain need to wake up. This is a really evil world that we're living in today. It is evil, and it's thoroughly corrupt, and they are mad. They are crazy, lawless criminals. They are mad. They do have a mad, insane agenda. They want to murder 6.5 billion people. This is part of their agenda, their New World Order, giant human call. Believe it, they're doing it. They are doing it. It's time to get real. You can't keep brushing this information aside. It's there written very clearly in the Georgia Guidestones. Who commissioned those Guidestones? Oh, some anonymous person. Okay, R.C. Christian. We know that it's the Rosicrucians. Okay, we know that this is all part of this New World Order agenda of they want their little utopia with their under 500 million people. Absolutely crazy, absolutely crazy. Because, as I stated previously, we live on a dynamic planet in a dynamic universe. There are natural catastrophes, and I tell you, with only 500 million people on the planet, all in a small corner of it, I tell you, you're gone. You're facing extinction, humanity. These people are mad. They are mad. They don't operate on universal law. That operates fundamentally on a system of abundance. These people operate on thrift for the majority, abundance for the few. Okay, and I tell you, they are gone. And look at the hell that they've created on our planet. Look what they've done to Britain. They've divided us. They have put us at risk now. And we're being told that, oh yeah, America's telling us, abandon your food, health and safety regulations, so you can buy our food. Because we don't care in Britain. Apparently we're more concerned about an impoverished immigrant than we are about what we're feeding our children, or who's supplying our food, or how much we're going to be paying for it. and or how much power the people we're now dependent on for our food will have over us, you know, because apparently we're so worried about Brussels, but as Michael of Benicia has stated very clearly, and as I've shared in my recent video, this does leave us now, Britain, with this deal Brexit, the Brexit with a deal, leaves us under rule of German law. So we are actually in a worse position than we were, and I forget his name, the radio show host. He stated quite rightly that it's okay for Boris Johnson and Jacob Rees-Mogg to change their minds. You see, they can change their minds about this Brexit. They'll say, no, we don't want any deal. And now they can change their minds and change their vote. Oh, but we, the public, aren't allowed to change our minds and our vote, are we? We, the public, who were lied to and misinformed, who the Sky never bothered to explain to us what the custom union was to the majority of British people, who were so busy trying to keep afloat in this world, to actually pay the bills. They rely on the news medias to inform them, but the news medias at the time of the referendum were basically highlighting xenophobic crap and standing on the sidelines saying, oh, well, we don't want to be biased, so we're going to give you the xenophobic crap, and then some watered down reasons why you shouldn't support the xenophobic crap. But they did not inform people, and knowing all the while that people were being thoroughly misinformed and stirred up with xenophobic fears in order to persuade people to vote Brexit, so that then Theresa May could come along with her deal, you see. And yeah, it's okay for her Tory ministers to change their minds. Oh, now they've looked at the evidence, now they've seen what reality we're actually facing. Oh, now they're allowed to change their mind, but not the British people, who are demanding a second referendum. Because reasonably, at least half the people who voted to leave have changed their minds. Now they've got the full facts and the full information about what our situation is right now, what it means if we leave, what it is actually we receive from the EU, what we're facing now we're leaving the EU. Oh, now, people have changed their mind. Oh, we, the British public, are not allowed to change our minds in accordance with the new information and evidence that is arriving to us right now. You see? So, no, the British public, you're not allowed to change your mind. Jacob Rees-Mogg, you know, Boris Johnson, all of their ilk, Eton, Cambridge boys. Oh, yes, of course, they're allowed to change their minds, but not us. We want another referendum. We want Theresa, we want this entire government booted out of Parliament, and a lot of them arrested on criminal charges of economic terrorism, manslaughter. They've murdered people, there's no two ways about it. British people are dead directly because of these Tories. They have wreaked havoc on our nation. They have such a level of incompetence that they forced this referendum on the people, on the British people, left everybody wide open to abuse from the likes of Cambridge Analytica, hired directly by leading Tory Brexit, pro-Brexit ministers, okay? A social engineering corporation, a global social engineering corporation, hired by Tory ministers directly to lie to and even spy and collect data on the British people. I'm serious, you couldn't make it up. You couldn't make it up. And that, oh, now suddenly, yes, yes, well, you've made your choice, Britain. You've made your choice, and now we're going to make our choice. We're going to have this deal Brexit. Well, no, we are not, okay? And all this crap that I'm hearing from these allegedly hard Brexiteers who are threatening civil war, if we're given another referendum, I'm sorry, go away, bring it on, bring on your civil war. I'll fight you to the death for my human rights, okay? Until we are the nation that we were when we entered the EU, I'm not going to bloody well leave it in order to be dependent on the likes of Donald Trump for our food and bloody healthcare. You can get lost. No, 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 no. What? The whole country suddenly on rations because the president of America doesn't like our democratic choice. Yeah, that's America. You know, talk about jumping out of the frying pan into the fire. And as I've stated all along, I have got no particular love for the EU ministers, okay, but I have for the people, and I have for the laws and the protections and the rights and the safety regulations that they have collectively agreed to uphold, honour and establish, and most especially the child protection directives, which are actually non-existent in Britain. Everything's down to discretion of police and local authorities and family courts. If family courts say children are safe, then apparently children are safe, even if we know they're not. Even if all the evidence screams that they're not safe, it don't matter. A family court judge has said they're safe, and that's good enough for us Britons, isn't it? Because they should be allowed to swoop down, the authorities that govern us should be allowed to swoop down any time they like, snatch children from our homes, give themselves huge sums of money out of the public purse while doing it, because they've identified a future emotional risk in the family home, and thereafter they can do what they like with those children, can't they? Yes, sorry parent, go away. You better shut your mouth. If you talk about this in public, you're going to be gagged, you're going to be in prison. If you keep going to the police with concerns about child safety and evidence about a high profile suspect, expect to be arrested and charged for harassment, because you're making a nuisance of yourself. Because we British authorities must have absolute freedom to do whatever we like. We can lie, we can steal, we can commit murder, we can commit crimes against humanity, we can commit war crimes, we can do what the bloody hell we like, and anybody who complains about it, you're a nuisance, you're a non-violent terrorist, expect to end up in prison. And especially if you're going to start condemning Zionist atrocities against the Palestinian people, please, you are an anti-Semitic, expect to be closed down off the internet, expect to lose your Facebook account, maybe even face charges for anti-Semitism, you see, because, you know, Zionists, nobody is allowed to criticise Zionists. They are a law unto themselves. And if they want to ignore Palestinian people's human rights, if they want to steal, if they want to commit murder, incarcerate children, murder children and paramedics and you name it, then they have to be allowed to do that, because that's part of their right, apparently, as an Israeli Zionist. And they support our MPs, you see, with their Israel lobby. They give huge amounts of funding to the Tory party. Yeah, yeah. This is what we are living with. And I tell you, this Brexit, it is a Zionist dream. They do want to break down the EU, not because of EU Parliament, which is already in the bloody corporate pockets anyway, but not as much as they'd like. And why? Because the people on the ground, the people of the EU, won't allow them. What do you think the Yellow Vest movement in France is all about? They're riling against corporatisation, because they're having a hard job. The only way now is to break up the EU. To break up the EU. Pick each country off. Divide and rule, divide and rule. That is what this is about. That is what this Brexit is about. And now they're telling us what a customs union is. Why? Because they want to persuade people now to accept May's crappy shit deal. And they want to shut people up about asking for a second referendum. Well, we've got a right to ask for it when we've got our own ministers, Tory ministers, turning round and telling us now they've changed their mind. They've changed their mind. Really? Really? Why? Why have you changed your mind? Jacob Reeves, Mogg, and Boris Johnson. Why have you changed your mind? Is that because you've received new information? Is that because the hard, stark facts are staring you in the face? Yeah, well, it's the same for us, the British people. We demand another referendum. We want another referendum. We need another referendum. This whole political ruling now that is taking place in our country, that has took over our country since Thatcher, you're a set of criminal bastards. It's what you are. You are all criminals. Every single one of you MPs who can stay sat in that House of Parliament, that den of iniquity, and call yourself an MP representing the British people, you're a liar. You're a liar because you're not representing the British people, and you have endorsed, just by staying sat, you are supporting a power of tyranny, not just against the British people, but against the people of the Middle East. The people of how many countries have suffered directly because of this force of tyranny, this criminal power that you're all supporting. In return for what? Money and a house. So you're a set of whores as well, aren't you? You're a set of whores. They really are. You know, compared to the impoverished women that are forced to sell their bodies on the street, okay, they aren't whores, are they? They're victims of crime is what they are. The true whores are the people who are truly profiting, both in riches and in power, from all this criminal filth that has been happening in Britain. Where are our rights? Where are our nationalised service and industries? Who gave anybody consent to sell off our publicly owned lands and properties that my grandparents paid for and worked hard for? Who gave anyone a right to sell them off? Where is our compensation as British people? While the councils have been selling off our schools and our lands and our libraries and the post offices and all the public buildings that we owned, where is our share of it? Where is it? But instead, our town council taxes are rising. The bills are rising. Our wages are falling. Our rights are disappearing, vanishing. Get active, people. Get active.